what should we do? One more, and then we'll get into. Okay, let's do one more.
I'm ready.
Okay, Kyle, we're ready for the second video. Oh, this is the one. Okay.
I'm a narcissistic parent, so I subconsciously use you to feel good about myself.
But I'm your kid.
I know, and because my life is pretty out of control, I used you to have some sense of control.
Jeez.
Yeah, you'll notice that my needs come before yours, and I'm obsessed with public perception. Our entire family is really all about show and how we look to other people. That's why I'm one way in public and completely different in private.
Yeah, I'm already learning that the most important thing is what people think of me.
Well, actually, the most important thing is what I think of you, and I make this the center of our relationship. You see, my love for you is transactional and depends on how you behave. If you meet my needs, then I praise you. If you don't, I'm critical of you and I withhold my love. This is really confusing, but it's how I establish control.
How is this going to impact me?
Oh, a bunch of ways. You'll be terrified of making mistakes, disappointing people, or letting others down. That's because I've conditioned you to never let me down. Because I emotionally abandon you when I feel like you're not doing what I want you to do, you'll be terrified of abandonment in your adult relationships. Always feeling like you're not good enough, always wondering what people are thinking of you. Because I never let you truly be yourself, you'll create a false self that will eventually lead to depression. But at least I'll be happy.
What a treat. Yeah, I was like cringing the whole time. Yeah. Okay, so my thoughts on that. Another word that we might use for like a narcissistic parent is a parent who just is an inadequate parent, because I think that that's a scale of like narcissism, and there's covert narcissism, which too. So like narcissism is such a buzzword right now, and I think we like to put that label on someone.
Yeah.
Yes, we can all be narcissistic assholes.
Yeah.
So like, let's not act like it's such a, I'm holier than thou and they're the narcissist.
Yeah.
It's like has a lot to do with our emotional development, our attunement, our ability to look at our actions and desire healthy relationships. And that can, like, if we're stressed, we regress. So all of that being said, inadequate parenting is someone who that's an extreme of narcissism there, but exactly, it's someone who is more self-absorbed in their own world, and so they might parentify the child, which means that like it's the child's job to take care of their emotions, to tiptoe around them. That parent doesn't have that like awareness or perception and emotional maturity developed to really be better, which is what's sad. And I see this being a chronic issue for multiple reasons, especially right now in our society. So yeah, inadequate parenting can cause a lot of damage and send a lot of really mixed messages of like, I love you so much, honey, but now I'm going to emotionally dump on you and you're going to be the one to pick up the pieces. Or, if I'm not, if I'm too busy focusing on my stuff, it's going to be you're on your own for dinner. You're on your own for figuring all of these other things out, versus a child who's really connected with their parent and they're attuned to like what their kid is needing, or if they're needing an emotional check-in. So but that was a really great depiction. It was like rough to watch. It was cringy because I think I relate to it personally a little bit. So I'm like, oh, like, no, don't do it. No.
Yeah. And so like, I knew a person who, I would say, they are the child of narcissistic parents and borderline. Their parent, one of their parents is borderline, and so it's almost like a performance. All of their whole worldview, everything they do is there's that constant like nagging that what is my mom or dad gonna think, and then it's just, and so it's this tension that they live in, and all their decisions are shaped by it. And
it creates what I would say is like a core belief in someone, and that can be really limiting. So sometimes it's I'm not lovable, or love has conditions, or I'm a failure. I'm always going to fail. That's the message I keep getting. I'm never going to be enough. I'm not worthy. There's all kinds of messaging that we can get that is limiting. So then the way that I talk about core beliefs, it's almost like the glasses that we wear, the prescription that we see the world from. So even though I can tell that the room that we're currently in, like the majority of the walls are black, I can tell this is a wood table. I can tell you're wearing a green shirt. If I had this worldview that changed the way I see things, like reality is distorted. So now a situation that isn't just what it is, it's not just a black wall. I'm seeing a polka dotted wall, and that is influencing the way that I react. If that's confusing, I just mean that like our perception of reality can be shifted to just believe that core belief.
Well, I mean, okay, and here's something that we can unpack whenever. But one thing I've noticed is children of narcissists have a lot in common with cult members. So, because it's like it's almost, the community is, your life is ruined if you try to leave.
There's a lot of it's you and me, or it's just, there's like a lot of conversation like that because the narcissistic or inadequate parent they need the child.
Yeah.
They, it's not a child parent relationship. Things are flipped.
Well, like Jim Jones, for example, like he was like an ultimate narcissist. It was all these people to prop himself up. And then when he saw it falling apart, he killed everyone.
Yeah. And I mean, with cults, I mean, I would need to do some more research into cults. Those are like really fascinating, but I think that there's a lot of there's a need to be needed.
Yeah.
And that's also there and present in an inadequate parenting child relationship. Like that can feel, that's part of the people pleasing.
Yeah.
But that can fuel that like mom needs me and it feels important. So even though it's not healthy and it ends up causing a lot of damage in the long run, from a child perspective, you flip that and you're like, I'm the only one that can do that for mom, or no one else gets it except for me. And that feels really important and validating, except that, boy, that's a lot for a kid to carry on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And that isn't that isn't how we would like a child to like prioritize their needs. That like, what is it that mom or everyone else needs first?
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are the confessions of a former people pleaser once again,
Same.
right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's peeling back all of those layers and really understanding where it started from so that we can move forward and kind of like realize, that's poppycock. Like, I don't need to do that just because that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
But that was a good one.